right. Welcome to the Mama's Den. This is Cody, mama of 3, Aristotle and Langston, 4-year-old twins, and 6-year-old Brooks. Up to no good.
And it's really them babies.
This is them babies. This is Melanie Fiona, mom of 2. Cameron is 7. Kaya, my Sagittarius, is 1.5 years almost. Welcome.
This is Felicia Latour. What's up, y'all? I have 2 babies. Peace is, how old is my child? 8. Oh, wow. And Zen is 4. Crazy to think about.
Go ahead, Ashley.
8.
16 kids.
This is Ashley Chia. I have 4 children. Amira is 14. She's going to high school.
Oh my God.
AZ is 6 going on 7.
What's her name?
Azara Lee. We call her AZ. Asia is 5. And Atalia is, how old is your daughter, Melanie?
Atalia's 1.5 years.
Okay.
Because Kaya is 15 months and Tata is 1 month older.
See, that's why I told Chia she was 16 months. He tried to tell me no.
She's 1.5 years officially.
You were there.
I'm going to fight him. Okay.
And today we have a guest.
Yay!
Okay, guys, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and your motherhood journey. However, we have today Numa Perrier, the director of The Perfect Find, which comes out this weekend on Netflix, June 23rd. And a mama, but also full-time director, writer, actress, killing it. So will you tell us a little bit about your daughter and also like in the industry, like where were you when you had her? Like what were you doing?
What was I doing? Well, yes, I'm Numa. Thank you for the sweet intro. My daughter, Rockwell, is 12, and I have a stepson, my son by another mother, Langston. His
name is Langston?
Yeah.
Yes, we love a Langston.
Yeah, we love a Langston. He's very sweet, and he's 9. And when I had Rocky, I was smack in the middle of making all of my films and launching my company. That was the very, very earliest days of Black and Sexy TV through that entire pregnancy. And I had Rocky on set with me when she was 5 weeks old. So
girl.
She's grown up on set. She's grown up, with a businesswoman for a mother, a businesswoman for a father, and also artists all the way down the line. So that's been the experience.
That's cool. Yes, I bet.
Wait, does she want to do film when she gets older? Is that something she's showing interest in, or?
She has a lot of interests. She loves history. She loves English. She loves reading. She loves fashion and skincare. And, she's a real beauty girl.
So cute.
So I don't know, which way that's going to take her. But, she's talked about being a set designer, being a costume designer, being an actor, being a director. She's talked about a lot of different things already.
I love it.
So,
it's good. You're also exposing her to so much to where she feels like, oh, I have all these options. I'm curious, what type of history is she interested in?
Fashion history.
That's really cute. I love
really
this.
big. So she follows a YouTube influencer called Mina Lay, who combines fashion criticism, reviews of different red carpet moments, but all backed up by a very detailed history.
Oh, that's tight.
And that's really lined up with her kind of natural love for wanting to know where people come from and how groups of people interact. And so I think that's been a good gateway for her. But in school right now, they're also doing Egyptian history. And she's very interested in that and understanding, the different gods and what they represented. And she wants to go to Egypt now. So yeah, she's a little historian.
Sounds like peace. My daughter is obsessed. My daughter is obsessed with history, but like specifically Black history and Black women's stories, and it's like so fire.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love that. That's why I was asking. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's the best when you're learning from them.
Yes,
and the things that they're inviting you to do, or like watch this YouTube video with me that's debating this specific piece of history, or that's I'm getting history was not my strong suit or anything that I had really delved into.
Yeah, but when it's fashion history,
when it's fashion history, it's awesome. But also when it's your kid, like wanting to share things with you and make sure that you're educated and on point. It's like, it's a really beautiful relationship.
A storyteller though, because I feel like I loved history, but I write, but
Yeah.
I am obsessed with history and knowing like where something originated from and stories in Egypt and all of that. So it feels like she might it might translate eventually into that, because I feel like people that want to know, like you're like that too. You always want to know like the root of something.
Do be having questions.
Speaking of like how we identify who we become, how old were you when you knew that you wanted to get into film or television and film, or what is like kind of like the inception point for you, or do you remember like what that was? What did you dream of being as a little girl?
Oh, definitely. As a little girl, I was writing and acting and also directing. And I've been telling this story now that the directing piece, I didn't know that was the word for it, but I was definitely the one in my family, because we had 8 siblings total.
Wow.
Yeah.
What number are you?
Well, kind of complicated, but like third oldest.
Okay, third oldest.
Yeah, so I'm on the elder side of it, but was also the baby at one point. And so it's like, I feel like I have both things going on. What was I going to say about, being a director. So out of all the 8 kids, I was the one that was always telling everyone, okay, we're going to pretend that this isn't our house, that this is, this is a hotel and we're in the Bahamas. And when it's dinner time, it's, you're this guest and I'm that guest, and we're all meeting each other for the first time.
That.
So I was always acting, writing, and directing from a really
Did they
young
listen?
age.
Were they?
And they listened.
Wow.
And we would play these, I call them plays. We would do these plays for days, and I was like, don't break character. You're not Dimitri. You're David Maroon from wherever, Hilarious.
Wait,
so-
what's your sign?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, okay.
Sagittarius. It could go either way. It could be a Sagittarius or a sassy terrorist.
No, I'm definitely Sagittarius.
Terrorist nonetheless.
A Sassy-tarius.
Okay.
So it's either Sassy-tarius or Sagittarius.
Oh, yeah.
I think Numa's a sassy.
I think she's I think she's
I'm
a sassy.
Sagittarius.
You are a terrorist.
She's proud of it too.
Possibly.
She identified that quickly.
Yes, in so many ways.
When is your actual birthday?
December 14th.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, girl. Okay, fire sign.
Sounds
about right. My sister's a Sagittarius. She was the same way. She would literally like imagine for days and make us. Do you all remember Kids Incorporated?
Yes.
She would make us play that, the 2 of us, like for days. And she would be the same way. We were doing dishes, and I would try to talk to her. She'd be like, I'm not a Rebecca right now. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm like, oh.
You're like, look, I really need something.
Yeah,
Like, stop.
And she would not. Never break
Okay,
that.
girl. Where's my toothpaste?
That was me.
That's how I was
That
smiling.
was me all day. And so, and then you just connect that when you're older and you're like gravitating towards all these things. You're like, oh, this is where it all started. This has always been me. This is always what I've loved.
I love that.
To just let my imagination go free and then actually find a way to eat off of that, have a living. So, yeah.
Well, that's one of my 100 questions. Is like, especially it being born in you so early, what has been the hardest part of it being, your career?
Oh gosh, I guess they're always longing for something more, because you can go so high in this career. You can go all the way to the Oscar stage and all the way to the Emmy stage, and create a series or a film that has a global impact on the entire culture. And it feels like there's always like another rung to kind of get to. And I think that that's the hardest part, is to have that ambition, but also not be so stuck on chasing the next thing all the time. Like, I feel like that's really my biggest challenge, is just to actually enjoy and really appreciate and go all the places that I want to go without that kind of desperation also hanging over everything at the same time, because there's always something more.
I feel like that's that creative spirit, It's like you're saying you like can't stay in the present moment or really just soak up the present moment. It's like, okay, what's next, But I feel like that happens to me a lot.
I think people are guilty of that in general. Like, it's easy to like romanticize something that hasn't happened or like lament on something that has and be like, oh, remember when I used to be, or like, I can't wait till I get, but like, how often do we really take a moment to actually say, I'm just so present with where I am. I'm happy for where I am. I love being right here.
Yeah.
It's the plight of anyone when you're trying to build or get to anywhere. I think we all can
That
kind
is-
of
yeah,
feel that way.
That is so
and
real.
it's really keeping up with yourself.
Yes.
You know, I think especially because when you are a parent, when you do have kids, and you see those markers, you know, and those questions rising up in them as well, it's just you reorganize it's time for you in a certain way. So yeah, for me, that's the biggest thing, because I feel very accomplished, and I have to, you know, even right now, just remind myself, really enjoy this moment, enjoy the rollout of this film, enjoy the celebration, you know, behind this film. Like, we all worked so hard to get here. This is such a big part of our dream, and to really experience the dream, you know. So that's where I'm at. Right
Are you
now.
good at clapping for yourself when you do reach these?
I'm doing it for you.
Yeah. Wait. While we're talking about clapping for you, though, and we are going to talk about The Perfect Fine, but like some shows, The Wonder Years, Unprisoned. What else we got?
Queen Sugar.
I know that's right.
Everything I Did at Black and Sexy TV, Roomy Lover Friends, Hello Cupid, The Couple, Sexless, Chef Julian.
Okay, girl.
All directed and
all
creating, right?
all the
Creating these
things.
series.
But yeah, Imprisoned, I directed this season 3 finale of Young Rock. So that was cool. I was like, oh, I'm working with the most famous person in the world, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And my kid definitely flipped out because her friends call her The Rock. You know, and so
her
she
name's
has
Rockwell.
yeah. So she has this little. So when I told her that I was getting that job, she was like, "Oh my god, this is so huge." Yeah, but I've been working pretty consistently
And clapping. for these
since my
moments.
kid was born. Really,
Yeah,
I've always been working.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I want to ask you about that. Do you feel like, because you've been working since your kid was born, you were taking her on set, do you feel like having a child made you more motivated? Because, you know, a lot of people will have a baby and be like, oh, like, take a step back. But it seems like you had a baby and was like, I'm going to keep going. Was that like a motivating force for you?
Yeah, I think it motivated me more. I already had all of the ambitions, but I also knew that I wanted to be a mom. I envisioned my daughter for like many years. I envisioned the texture of our relationship, you know, how we would talk to each other. So that's like another dream come true, is to have a really beautiful relationship with my daughter. I know she's 12, going on 13. So we'll see how
Ashley
it all
knows all about the
peels
teenage.
out.
Yeah, look, she gonna take a drink.
We'll see how it all peels out. But, you know, these first 12 years have really been really beautiful. And it's very much been part of my dream as well, but became more motivated because, you know, kids are expensive. And, you know, I always want her to have everything that she wants and the whole thing, you know. So I say, you know, she's my the Rockwell Foundation.
Right.
You know, that's like where I'm giving my money to.
For real.
Oh, man.
But yeah, and then now that I have 2, you know, you know, everything just expands even more. So it's definitely very motivating because, you know, you want the best for your kids.
I can tell that you're a good mother because the fact that you visualize your relationship with your child before you had one is like always a sign to me that someone is like so intentional about the things that they're doing. And the relationship you have with your daughter, it's beautiful. And when she becomes a teenager, it's hard. But I feel like when you already have that foundation, like it's hard for me right now. I have a 14-year-old and we are like super, super close. She wanted to do everything I wanted to do. And then she just like hit that age, like 13, 14, where she was like a little bit over me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey. But those moments are easy to get through because we already had that like bond and relationship. And she always comes back to me.
Yeah.
And that's like all that you can really ask for as a mother. Yeah.
You have that foundation. So
Me and Felicia got our little bottom lip poked
I know.
out.
I'm like, oh my God, this is so devastating.
I'll definitely call you when she crosses those next
Yes.
milestones.
Give me a
because
ring.
I am kind of like going, okay, this is so
you
good.
waiting for
I don't want that
something?
other shoe to drop,
It
you know?
does, but it's like like I was texting them the other day too, because I was telling my daughter like, oh, I started my period. She was like, I did too, Mom, and I was like, we are really synced up on our periods, but also it made sense why she had attitude with me because I was like, oh, okay, girl, you was PMSing.
That is so funny.
Black Beyond Measure honors and elevates Black creators, artists, entrepreneurs, and others in the Black community. Target holds the community front and center, supporting their products, ambitions, and efforts, and people behind them, encouraging them to thrive.
Booyah. And look, we know that the world is stressful. We know that motherhood is at least 5 jobs rolled into one title, plus the other jobs that you need to do. That's why it's important to find those little moments, to embrace the soft life and find that inner glow.
And that can look different for everyone too. Maybe it's journaling, listening to your favorite song, or sitting outside in the garden and taking in the sunset. For me, it's taking 5 minutes in my car with my favorite cup of coffee and just being. It looks different every day, but those intentional moments of self-care allow me to show up every day for myself and for my family.
And showing up is why we come here and do the podcast. Connecting with other mamas, aunties, and even grandmamas on their parenting journey has poured into all of us. We love how uplifting our Mama's Den community is and how you help feed our outer glow.
Community support is everything, and Target understands what it means to invest, uplift, and celebrate community. Learn more at target.com/blackbeyondmeasure. I have a daughter question too, specifically about fashion and the film. Okay. So The Perfect Find is very much about a fashionista, a 40-something fashionista who finds her young thing, and the rest you have to watch. And that's Gabrielle Union and Keith Powers. But with your daughter loving fashion history and her being 12, and this is very much a sexy thing, will she see it? Has she seen it?
Oh, well, she was on set for a couple of days that were appropriate for her to come. And, I bring her to every set for at least a day so she can see what I'm up to and, be part of what's happening. But she'll probably see the movie at some point, but she won't be at the premiere or anything like that. It's, there's a lot of, spicy, racy scenes in there that she would
long one.
She would just run out of the room. She would not be.
Close your eyes.
So no, but she's very aware of it. I share everything with her, even, when Netflix was sending us the early trailers, I'm like, which trailer do you like? A lot of times I will, listen to her final word on something. I'm like, or I'll just watch her as she's watching it. And then I'll know oh, that's where it got boring. She checked out at this point, because that's all so fresh and pure and honest from her. And, but she is hip to it now because she's like, you have to pay me.
Yep, that's right.
She hit me on the phone too much talking about how I don't do work for free. She's like, I'll consult with you on what to wear to the premiere, but you have to pay me.
Yes.
She's like, I'll do a little board for you.
I mean, come on, business.
I love that.
But wait, guys, with the teen moms. So when are you like, okay, sure, I'll pay you? And when you like, sis, I raised you.
Girl,
I made you.
No, we can't teach them that.
No, Amira.
Get your money.
Yeah, she was 7 or 8. And she was, because, I did influencer on Instagram for a long time. And so she was like, you're getting paid for these pictures? And I was like, yeah. She was like, and we're in them? She was like, we should get paid too. And I pay them. It's also a tax write-off, so it's fine. But no, I paid my kids for being in all of our photos and for working.
True. But sometimes you say, little girl.
I've never.
What about when she was helping on the shoot? We were all together.
I paid her.
Really?
Yeah. Because Anna pays her when she's on, because my homegirl is a stylist for celebrities and she takes my daughter on set with her and she'll be on set with her the whole day. And my daughter is an amazing worker. To be clear, she is top tier. And she needs to be paid. We had on Ohio State's campus and the director of the campus walked up to me and was like, your daughter works harder than all of these college students. She needs to be paid.
I think it's so important. It's so important.
So,
yesterday,
noted. I got 6.
Yesterday, we were going swimming and she was telling me something about what she wants to do. She was like, I really want to create a YouTube channel and I just want to inspire people, just to try their best. And, she's like, I want to show them that I like to act and I like to swim and I like to read, all these things. And I was like, okay, that's dope. And now it's like, so how do you, what do you need from me? She's like, well, are you going to post a video? I'm like, well, do you want me to? She's like, I'm not going to waste my time if you're not going to post it and we're not going to benefit from it financially. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I feel you because I'm not going to waste my time either. So I'm like, okay, have a conversation with your father and then let me know what he says and we can run it back.
Right.
But no, I think it's important because I feel like that's where they're learning their self-worth is in home first. And there are times where it's like, look, I'm not going to pay you money, but you trying to go to Target and get a toy or two, but always rewarding them. I feel
for sure,
especially as little girls.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Your daughter is probably learned that from you too. She's like, okay, mom, you're not doing that for free.
You said, one too many times. So.
Right, I overheard you
you, Mom.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
She's seen it all. She's heard it all. She knows how it goes down.
It's exciting. I love it.
She's in the car. I get a call from my lawyer about a deal, and I'm like, my daughter's in the car, and like they'll just run through the whole thing, and she's listening.
I love it. I love that.
She's like, wait, how much money are you making, mommy? Yeah. I'm like, it's not as much as you think in your mind.
She's in the back.
Right.
Oh, no, she knows she doing it.
She knows exactly what's
She's
going
smart.
on. It's crazy. Yeah.
I'm gonna send peace over there.
I know. I was gonna
Get
say.
some tea. Get some game.
Now you gonna go work with Numa today, now, Chad. Go learn how to do a contract.
All these little girls about to
What
be
she
on
said?
set with you.
I know.
He's so childish.
Yeah.
So having her while you guys were in the midst of Black and Sexy, and you started working with her at 5 weeks, or went back to work at 5 weeks, or did you go back to work at 5 weeks, or you brought her on set after 5 weeks?
I brought her on set. I was working through the whole thing, really, but definitely had her on set at 5 weeks. Yeah.
So now she's 12. What has been the most challenging season for you? Whether it's like an age of hers or like tied to something that you were doing and it was like juggling. Like what's been the most challenging season?
Probably when I split from her dad. That was, and still remains, a challenge, to always face and, heal those hurts and wounds and, just going through that season with her, just like the two of us, and and that's really why I related so much to The Perfect Find. Jenna was going through a heartbreak and a career mess all at the same time. And I really related to, when those two things happen at the same time, how do you piece yourself back together? How do you kind of have double grief? And then you also have like the small child looking up at you.
Yeah. How old was she?
Who's also in pain. 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's, trying to figure things out too. And that was a very challenging season. And I think now it's still a painful thing, and I can see it in my kids' eyes when it comes up, or if we're watching a movie where there's any discord between a couple or anything, like I can kind of see that washing over her. Or she doesn't really want to watch things like that. Yeah. Because, that just brings up bad memories for her. But, we are, I think, pushing through. We're on the other side of it in the biggest ways, but definitely very, very challenging to go through that.
I have a question that you can tell me you don't want to answer, but how did she respond when you met your husband?
Oh gosh, she was very protective of me and very just telling him, like, she would actually go like this, her eyes.
She's like, I'm watching you. No, that's
like
right.
when they first met, she just she really did that.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you that she was not playing around about her mom.
Yeah.
And, she'd been through too much and she wasn't about to go through no mess.
Yeah, don't come over here playing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I feel that.
And so he actually spoke to her before he proposed to me.
Yeah.
That was the hand he had to get.
That's what them eyes was about. No, for real.
Yeah.
She didn't give it to him
She
at
did.
first, She was like, pause.
Oh.
And pause. I was like, girl, you're keeping me from my ring. Like, what's going on?
He's like, okay, now.
But she definitely took her time about all of it. And, and now they have a nice, beautiful relationship, but it's still always kind of navigating like, okay, this is a parental figure in my life, and this is my dad. This is another parental figure in my life, but this is my mom. And it's hard. And I wish she didn't have to negotiate all those things. Yeah. But that's where we are, you know. And she's finding her way, and I feel like our family now is pretty blended. Like I talk about blending family, and I think about it kind of like mixing paint, sort of. It's like if you don't keep stirring it, like the colors will separate again, or they can. And so it's kind of a constant, like,
sure.
pushing those things together and blending them. But yeah.
And so in the process, you inherited a son now. So you have a son. So what is that?
Another Aries, by the way.
You got a lot of fire
For
now.
all of our zodiac people, my husband is a Sagittarius as well.
Fire in the house.
Fire in the
It's all
house.
fire in the house. And so, and then we both brought one kid to the party who are both Aries. So it's like
Hilarious.
that week in December, it's like nonstop birthday stuff. And then that week in the end of March, early April, is like nonstop stuff. For
Y'all
kids.
weren't playing.
Yeah.
So
and it's a lot of fire.
I've never heard of this dynamic. It's amazing.
So much fire.
But what is your, I guess, I'm interested to know how the experience is for you, because you had your daughter and then now you have a son and now you said he's 9. So how old was he when he came into your life?
He was 3.
Wow.
He was very young. And I think that, the younger, the better, sort of, in terms of like, I've been around, I've been a fixture. But it's still, again, it's like a blending thing because I know both sides of it.
Right.
I know how it doesn't feel good to have another woman with your kid. Like that never feels good. Like even in the best situation with like the warmest, most loving, cool person that you get along with, it's still, I guess, for a mom like me, for Sagittarius like me,
territory.
Like, yeah, very it's like
Sagittaritorial.
Yeah, Sagittaritorial. And I'm very much like that. And, and so it's just like, how do you grow and expand your heart to be able to let all of that in and have your kid also have that extra love and support coming that way, and parenting, because there's strengths that another parent can, all of those things, like to be okay with all of that and then be on the other side of it and wanting to offer that to a child that you didn't birth, but like you are a parental figure in this child's life as well. But I'm very aware of how his mom could feel like, so it's just always, just trying to make, just
it's
like
a dance.
But it's like, dance in slow motion, it's like, you're just kind of just like going through it. And I forgot the question, but
no, you answered it.
Yeah. He was very young, and he's 9 now, and I'm still figuring out kind of what my spot is, and there's more. I have a desire to do more, but I also don't want to, even a little bit like infringe on. His mom's feelings, or, her place, or, wanting to do something first. It's still, it's still something, and it's like, we're married, like we're, I'm not just like
a girlfriend,
like living around, or that girl, that woman, that lady that's been around. Right. It's like, I'm your father's wife, you know, and so, a few things I've stepped in on, something in school where a teacher was saying that he had been placed, he's a very, very gifted, I know I'm not supposed to say that, but he's very advanced, very smart. And there is a class that he was in, he does like this German immersion program. And the teacher was saying, oh, he probably shouldn't actually do this. He should go over here. But like, we know what he's capable of. Right. He was just having that moment of like, kids get scared when they're about to learn something new. And so that was a time where I did use my voice to say, hey, he can definitely do this, Right. And it's not like his mom doesn't know that and his dad doesn't know that. They didn't feel comfortable with what the teacher was saying either, but it was that like fire sign
you stepped in
where I could step in and say, no, like he's going to stay in this class and he's going to, reach up to the gradient and he's fine. Yeah. Now, but it's like, is it okay for me to really, step up and to really step up and say that about this child? It's like, that's what I see in him. And, I was the loudest voice, to take that stand. So,
and did it work out?
And it worked out.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. Can I say something really quickly?
That's
great. So I'm a co-parenting mom as well. Well, co-parenting, and their dad got engaged, and the same thing when we separated is probably like one of the hardest things ever, because now I have 2 kids, and just reframing like, what does partnership, like what does it all look like? And I feel like once they got engaged, it definitely took time. Like I would have days that I would come in here and be like, today I don't feel good. Today, it would just a slow, gradual process. But I feel like you using your voice in that moment, it's like we take away roles and it's more of like, how can I advocate for this child? You know what I mean? I feel like it becomes so much bigger than that. But I really like that you use your voice. I think that that's important. Because with their father's partner, I'm like, you can, it's like you can come around. Like I'm listening to the way that you parent sounds very similar to how I am with my child. And so I'm very like, can't even take my spot if you wanted to. Like, but,
you can try.
But baby, it's not easy. Okay, baby.
That will be what happens.
So sometimes I kind of have to be like, hey, do you want to be a part? So I feel you. I'm like, I'm so happy that you're talking about this. Because sometimes I'm like, dang, does anybody else feel like this? Like co-parenting and blended family and doing it a different way is like very taboo, So when you are mixing the paint, how you're saying, it's like, you got to keep stirring it. This morning, I'm like, hey, I'm just checking on you. I heard you went out of town. Like, it's important to keep doing it for the health of the children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a trip.
Well, I'm a child of a blended family. So I feel like, my perspective too, just even for your stepson, is that I think you being conscious of his mom is beautiful, but also like there becomes a time when, I don't want to say because both of you are obviously mothers, but like when you don't think about that and you just think about your relationship with the child in a sense, because sometimes like for me, I'm close to my stepmom, but not that close because I think she was so fearful to overstep those boundaries. And it kind of created a weird energy between us where I didn't feel like she really like was super welcoming, but she was so worried that she didn't want to like offend my mom or like, you know what I mean? Or overstep. Yeah. So like even things that she would do with her kids, she wouldn't do with me because she didn't want to be like offensive. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's really important. Hard. Like trust your heart and your instinct to just love them. And then it's like better to have, if you're having an argument about you loved my kid too much or you did too much for them, that's way better than the opposite. Yeah. I feel like it's always like give them all the love and obviously be mindful. It's not like you're like trying to replace their mother, you know what I mean? Yeah. But like giving them that love and your consciousness to me is like already shows the type of person you are. I feel like it's better. Those are one of those things where it's better to do and then ask later.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking was like a calculated risk.
Right? Like I'm feeling like I want more of a connection with him, and I know that has to come from me. Yep. Yeah. And I think that prior to this and prior to Rocky, her dad also has 2 children. So she has brother and sister who are adults now. Okay. But at the time when we were together, they were kids, and I was really struggling then. Like I didn't know where to put the left foot, the right foot, how to even like manage at all these kids in any way. And I think that, he wanted me to be like that second, like I just did not have the capacity for it in any way. And so it's like, I'm trying to have like a very new unit in time now. To, hopefully there's been some growth. Whereas like before, very, very different behaviors. So it's like I can feel that coming up in me now, like, oh, I'd like to have a closer relationship with him. Yeah, and, for sure. What does that look like? So,
yeah. How did you find the balance? Like, because you weren't a mother yet, like, how did you find yourself in that space?
Wait, and backing up a little, you guys worked together. How old were you when when you guys were together before you had Rocky?
Well, I was still in my 20s. So, most of my friend circle were like nowhere near like thinking about having kids. Some of them do now, but even some of them still don't. So it was just a very overwhelming and lonely place to be. The whole thing. And I had all types of issues and and I think really like made a lot of mistakes and, a lot of things I would probably approach differently now. I still have, some relationship with them because those are my daughter's siblings, and so we all do her birthday together. Like, you know, everyone comes, both sides of the family. And, you know, we have like a good rapport, you know, but it's like, it doesn't go beyond that. It's like, I didn't create the type of relationship where it's like, even though I'm no longer with your dad and I'm over here now, like, you guys can call me for anything. I mean, they can, but it's not like, we don't have that, the relationship isn't on that level. And that's, I was just nowhere near the maturity. You just know so much more when you become a mom yourself.
That's true.
You understand all the mom stuff in a way that you're just not going to when you're 20-something and you're dating someone with like 2 kids. You know,
And I feel like it's like an internal activation. We were talking about this the other day. I had called the father of my children. And I was like, look, because I'm dating somebody and then he has a fiance. I was like, has this come up for you? And just explaining like, how basically they become parents overnight and we're almost like 9 years in, you know, and both him and I both trying to find the balance of how do you navigate that? Like you're trying your best, but you've never had children before and I'm doing it with my eyes closed. You know what I mean? So also trying to be fair. I'm like, that balance is, I'm like, I could only, and then, you know, people are getting sad or they get offended or like feeling depressed. I'm like, oh, this is a lot. Yeah. Like, you know, so yeah, it's interesting.
That's deep. Yeah,
I know, it's crazy.
And you're doing it in your 20s because I became a mom in my 20s, but like that was ghetto, and I'm like, so I couldn't even imagine. I felt like a teen. I kept telling everybody I was a teen mom.
It feels like it still feels ghetto. Even in your 30s and 40s.
I feel like a child.
Yeah, you feel like a little kid, but then you're in charge of somebody else's kids too. So that has to be a wild experience. Yeah. Cody?
Yes, this is. I just wanted to like call out and just point to what Felicia said because I've never heard it put that way in terms of like you having compassion for your ex-partner's new woman as in her motherhood role, right? Her bonus motherhood role. And I don't know that people really say that right out loud, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I just think that's really beautiful. And even if it took however long it took to get to that place, that's really interesting.
That is beautiful.
It's just, you know, I know that this person from both of our sides, that they love the kids. And so, and I know how hard it is because they're my children and I know how I show up for them. So, you know, just to have that compassion and that empathy, I think it's so important. Like,
for sure.
You're here to love, and not saying that love is like it's. I mean, love can be hard sometimes, shit. But like,
period.
You know, it's like how like what tools do we give? That's why I'm like, do you want to go on a hike? Do you want to go to yoga? Like, girl, I know you tired. You're probably not gonna tell me, but I can see it. I know.
Yeah.
You know? So
also, we're all learning on the job,
girl. That's what we do.
Yes. And no, really, with your own partner, you're trying to. You don't always agree with how you parent. Like, I mean, you two are coming in with each. Even for this new situation, you both are married, but you came in with a child, and you two might not have parented your own children the same way. Yeah. So then you have to get on an accord of like. With me and my husband, I'm always like, we always have these discussions. We're like, that's not how I would have did that. Or why are you telling them no? Or, you know, that type of thing. So you're like training on job every day with your actual partner that you had children with. So if you're bringing in another party, they're learning and they're already in a deficit because if they don't have kids and it's like, they don't know, like they're going to learn through trial and error as well. Yeah. There's like more pressure on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, have to give everybody grace.
I feel like it's, you know, now it's moving into the team mentality, which I'm glad that it's starting to turn, you know, that way where it's like, you know, we all have like the little group chat, you know, even if like for drop-offs, who's there?
Yeah, I'm like, well, we get
somewhere. Like a group chat.
No, for real.
That's like a peaceful one, you know?
Are we all going on vacation next? What are we doing, y'all?
I'm like,
is that something you want, Felicia?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You go on vacation?
Oh, absolutely.
She's
ready.
We do.
So the thing, she like, no. So our thing is, my children are.
I'm sorry.
Never.
It's the honesty for me.
How long have you been married? How long have you been married?
No. It'll be 3 years.
Okay. October, so and then how long have you been dealing with the? Fiance. How long have him and
they've only been engaged a year, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, only engaged like a year. But the thing is that his family is very big, and basically his family kind of like adopted me. So we still do everything together as family.
Yeah.
When him and I didn't get along, it would just be like, see ya. But now it's like we can have a conversation and like,
that's nice.
yeah, because sometimes I'm like, well, I want to be on the jet skis with my kids. We need to come. We just stay.
I see what you're saying.
You need to be there too. Yeah.
I'm like, is she okay?
Vacation together with the kids.
Yeah, that's what you meant, right?
Oh yeah,
She don't mean a
She
couples
meant like,
trip.
oh, I thought she meant without the
No,
kids.
she knew she meant with the kids.
Oh, I did.
So she still ain't about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're still
Numa said
not
no,
with
thank
it.
you.
No,
Not
she's
yet.
not about it at all.
No, I'm not about it. But I mean, if we happen
what
to
I
be
said.
like the summer of filming The Perfect Find, it actually worked out beautifully because Rocky's dad and his partner were also going to be in New York that summer.
Oh, wow,
we were
okay.
filming in New York, New Jersey. And so we definitely weren't vacationing together, having any meals together. I was working all the time. It was not, but it was nice to be able to figure out things to be like in the within the same vicinity of one another. So yeah, something like that, Like, we can
be at a city. We can be in the same city.
Resort. Meet in the middle.
Definitely a different resort. I just want to see my kids.
You could go to Paris as well, and you could be there.
No, both
truly.
be at the Beyonce concert.
And you can stay in your location a little longer. Like I don't have to come back after 4 days.
I think it's great, but I'm just, the whole clapping for myself thing. I'm just clapping for myself that we've got our little group chat.
Yes.
We figured out the
Baby
birthday
steps.
thing. Like there's a smile on the kids' faces.
And we can clap for boundaries too.
We can also clap for that. Yeah. Boundaries are good. Yeah.
Well, while we're clapping for Numa, okay, guys, The Perfect Find this weekend on Netflix. Okay, first of all, everybody listening, turn that thing on. I think there's a setting your TV can remind you.
Notification?
Yeah.
Remind me.
That thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you can do that now. You can go on Netflix now and save it.
Yes.
Because it's ready. It's there waiting.
This is exciting.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
excited for you.
Okay, so I have a question. I have two questions. Specifically about The Perfect Find. What was your favorite part about shooting this movie? Like what was your favorite? Because you've shot so many different things. What's so special? Like what's the special imprint this movie left for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, I really did this film for the culture. So I think that's going to have the biggest impact on me is sitting in a big Black audience, watching it together, singing the songs together. It's a real crowd pleaser film. So I'm looking forward to that. Like, and I really poured like my heart into it in terms of wanting the culture to really get behind it and go on, just have that rom-com ride. It takes you to all those places.
I gotta say, I got to watch it over the weekend, and it's so cute. I love the opening, the artwork, the approach to the artwork that was chosen to do that. I love all the the references of women through history and fashion again, and just I love that there were so many things. Even the soundtrack, the music that was used.
The music. I was like, that's the first thing I said to Cody. I was like, who picked it? Oh, this sounds like fire. Every single song.
I'm watching with Ashley. We actually watched together.
Yeah.
Ashley had commentary. I knew she would. Had commentary
The whole time.
every minute.
I was like, hold on, pause.
Oh my gosh, you want to
That's my shit.
That's my song. Man, you know what's so awesome? It's so cool because I made a playlist for the movie, my moods, my different moods and things that feel good that, I knew I wanted to have 90s feeling towards the music because I wanted to, like, what's Jenna's playlist feel like? And then I wanted more contemporary stuff, what does Eric's playlist feel like? And then what is the music of the films that they love so much together? What does that music feel like? And it was really important for me to have all of that in the film and to just, you go on that musical ride too. And it's like, I can't wait. I can't wait to do that. But I have a question for you, Cody.
I love this.
I mean, we over here talking. Cody is.
Can I give Numa another flower first?
Yes.
Numa also made it a point. This is like, for the audience spoiler, but it's not like a real story spoiler, to put the screenwriter in the movie, Lee Davenport, who is a mama.
I love that.
Tia Williams, the author of the book in the movie, who's also a mama, and Numa is in the movie.
Yes.
Oh, I love this.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite part. I love
Also,
that.
Montage with the writers.
Cody is in the movie as well.
Surprise appearance.
And Cody is also producer on the film as well.
Yes.
So we're very excited. excited about this
What was your
collaboration.
question?
I just wanted to know, how does it feel to you since you really generated this entire thing by, you know, finding the book and having a dream for it to become a movie. And I know we all know what we all go through to get something made, and here it is. And how does it feel?
I mean, it feels amazing. Like, it's crazy because I optioned Tia's like earlier book, The Accidental Diva, first when I was in grad school. Like, I optioned that book and it never happened, and it might still. But like the journey of like trying to make something and not happening. And so when she sent The Perfect Find as a manuscript, she actually story time. She actually wrote it in her blog. She wrote a story about this fling that she had while she was at Essence. And I'm not giving myself credit because Tia is an author, but I was like, Tia, this is a book.
Yeah.
And then she wrote the book.
That's dope.
And so when she sent me the manuscript, we were like, we have to option this. At that point, I knew Tommy. I didn't know him before, but we optioned it and before it was even out.
Wow.
Cody is that girl.
Okay.
Cody is that girl. That is my
Visionary.
It's here. And it really is for the culture. Like, I mean, that's just what it is.
Wait,
like,
what year was it when that happened? Because I think that's important to tell, because it's 2023 now. So what year was it when you read that manuscript?
It was 2015. The only reason I even remember is because I had Brooks by the time that I had optioned it, and we'd already given Gab the book. We gave Gab the book like summer 2013 because I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so I guess we optioned it at the beginning of 2016, probably, or end of 2015. But yeah, it took us a while to like have that meeting with Gab and then like literally give her the book. Then it took a while for her to read it. But we got here because that's what movies require.
Yeah, but that's beautiful. I think that's just a testament to also dreams and people. I think when people see women or anybody, but specifically we're looking at Black women, right? And your film is going to come out and people are going to look at you. If they know who you are, they don't, right? They might not know your body or work, but they're like, how did they get here? Or how did this happen? Not knowing, like, this is 10, 11 years in the making. You know what I mean? So I think that's just an important little plug for people that have a dream or want to accomplish something, that it doesn't always happen overnight. But like, it also can happen 10 years later, and you get aligned with the right people to make it work. And it's like, it's supposed to happen when it happens with the right people. And the movie is really dope, and your music, like, that is the one thing that stood out to me. And I was like, this is hella intentional. I also made a playlist for my show that's not coming to fruition yet.
That's all right, girl.
A long time ago, but I feel like
that's how you get in.
But you can
get
like
into
manifest
it.
that.
Yeah,
but you can feel it, like in you putting the people in it. I feel like that's so important, because I feel like directors and writers and all of those people are super important in film. And sometimes you just see the movie and you see the actors, but it's like that came into fruition because of all of these other minds prior to these actors ever being here. So I'm glad that you honored them and yourself in that way too. I think it's dope.
And I'm like, this is so beautiful.
Yeah,
I love this.
Me too.
Well, thank you, Numa.
Thank you. This is fun. Yeah.
Watch
And
The
telling
Perfect
us your
Find,
business.
guys.
Yeah. Like, not too much.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We'll take
Just a
it.
little
We'll take
business.
it.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Y'all gonna help somebody with blended families, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
All right, that's the Numa's
have fun on your
Den.
vacations.
I'll let you know.